Let's learn how to digital storytell. Digital storytelling is a great way to express yourself, be creative, and personalize your learning.
So what is digital storytelling? So first of all, digital storytelling often involves a storyboard. Now let's talk about what a storyboard is. There's a lot of elements that can make up a storyboard. A storyboard is something that helps a user or designer map out the visuals or images for a particular story, scenario, sequence, anything like that. Basically, your digital story often takes the form of a storyboard. Now, they're fluid. Depending on who you are talking to, these change. They aren't always the same. Some people will tell you there's three components. Those are the intro, the content and body, and the conclusion. Others will tell you the three components are scenarios, visuals, and descriptions. They're very flexible and they are yours to use to tell your story. Now, for the platform we'll be using PowerPoint to tell your story, and really your PowerPoint is your storyboard. So let's talk a little bit about why. So first of all, why storyboard? It helps you map out your ideas. It helps you maintain consistency. It can give you direction for a final product. It details the interactions for everything involved. It can explain how a page within a course or a project or within your whole story should be animated or how it fits into the bigger picture. It helps subject matter experts or someone looking at this, and it kind of gives like the elevator view of your course or your story. And clients can approve easier. Now, the client in this case would be your teacher, grading your assignment or someone listening to your story. Now that we've talked about what digital storytelling is and what a storyboard is, let's talk about how to digital storytell because it's really cool. So first of all, you create a PowerPoint as your base. However you want to design your base, that's what you do, and it can be as creative as you would like, as personalized as you would like. The more personalized, the more creative, the better. Once you've done this, you want to add animations to the slides. There are a lot of really creative ways to do this. So you can use animations based on starting items on a click. You can stagger how they appear. And you can have items appear when you click a certain area of the page. Those are just some of the options. Your options are essentially limitless. Your next step is to voice over your PowerPoint. This is exactly how I created this digital story. So the easiest way, you click record on each slide and then you click stop after you are done. The reason you want to do it this way, you can record it all in one go, but I don't recommend it. If you mess up, you have to re-record the whole thing. If you do it slide by slide, you can just re-record a slide, which is a lot easier. Recording a slide is the little reset button. You start and stop with the pause or the stop button. Once you're happy with your voiceover on all of the slides, you then are going to want to export to video. You only do this when you're happy with how your PowerPoint looks and your voiceover. So basically, when you're like, yes, I'm happy, it looks great, you export to video. Then you've done it, essentially. You've created a digital story. A lot of students overthink this. It can be as complicated as you want it to be, but at the beginning, it can be very simple. Think about, trying to incorporate 3 new skills into your digital story. So let's talk about how to design a good digital story as well, in addition to the steps, because not all digital stories are best examples. So you want to employ good PowerPoint design practices. We've talked about this before. Those things include things like, you want to balance the amount of text on a page. Bullet statements are your friend. You do not need to write a paragraph. Never should you write a paragraph on a PowerPoint. Even a lot of the time, you don't need a full sentence. Only puts what's most important. Think about the colors used. Are they readable? If you have like yellow font on a white background, probably no one can read it. The same thing goes for a very dark font on a very dark background. Is the font easy to read? Now, is it too small? Is it one of those crazy weird fonts? These are the things you have to consider. You also want to think about, did you use graphics or other items to help intrigue the reader? If you didn't, you probably want to fix that. If it's just a bunch of text, no one's going to be interested in your story. This is a resource you can click. It gives you design tips. It walks you through. It's really a great resource. I highly recommend it. Now, as you think about your storytelling, you want to think about the following. First, there's no one right way to tell a digital story. Your digital story output, it should be personalized. It should be all about you and what you want. It should adapt and change based on the content you're working with and the audience. And you also want to consider that Kanban, who is a person who is, an expert on digital storytelling, storyboarding, and the works, stresses that interactions need to be developed, right? You have to use interaction. If you don't use interaction, it's super boring. You want audio cues, navigation, and many more things. So if you look over here on the left-hand side, you can see a number of pieces that go into storytelling, right? We have metaphors. There's a rough draft, your outcome, your thought, and how that all works together. That's just a way to show that storytelling is messy. You may not get everything right away. I can tell you, I re-recorded slides within this. It is okay to not have it be perfect. So let's wrap up. First of all, on the right-hand side of the page, we have some of the best storytelling sites and apps according to TeachThought. These are some really great options. So if you don't want to use PowerPoint, Powtoon is a really great option. Animaker, some that aren't on here, you may also want to use Storyboard. That is really great too. Some others you may want to use, for example, Adobe Creative Cloud. Their Adobe Express has some great options. Canva has some great templates. These are all great possibilities. So what I want you to consider is digital storytelling. It's an opportunity to make content your own. Storyboarding can look differently from time to time, and digital storyboarding is really a way for you to express yourself. It can be made with a variety of different tools. There is no one right tool. So as you can see on this graphic, there are a bajillion different ways you can tell a digital story. There is no one correct way that is better than another. These are references that were used in the development of this lesson PowerPoint to help you learn digital storytelling.